What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel, and today we have a very interesting subject that it is that we are going to be speaking about. We are going to be speaking about parallel realities as well as parallel lives. So in other words, parallel versions of you that could potentially be existing out there in the universe, in our solar system, and even in our galaxy. This is going to be very interesting information. Of course, this is going to have a very deep occult perspective on it, but this is some real deal stuff that is actually important to know about, that not a lot of people are teaching and not a lot of people truly do understand. So if this is something that intrigues you, then I highly recommend that you stay tuned for the rest of the video, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right out of the gate with this. So we are talking about parallel dimensions as well as parallel lives, parallel versions of you. And yes, when I say that, I literally mean it. A parallel version of you. Do you know what that actually means? Okay, so to understand parallel realities and parallel lives, we have to first take a look at time and space. So the way that we perceive this, on our planet Earth as human beings, is we see past, present, and future, right? We see the future ahead of us. We see the present moment as in right now. And then the past seems to be somewhere behind us. Well, when we zoom out of time and space, and we enter into different densities of consciousness or different dimensions, there are spaces, and this is actually the more, we could say, more pure energetic space, which we're all connected to at that soul and that spirit level. In that dimension, past, present, and future is literally all happening at the same time. So I want you to imagine you are playing a video game, and every single level that you move through and every single level that you overcome, you then get to move to that next level. And it kind of gives you a feeling as if you're going through a progression. It gives you a feeling as if you're progressing or making some form of progress from level 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. But I want you to imagine if you took that game and you zoomed all the way out, and you just saw all the levels at once. You just immediately could see exactly what you needed to do for level 1, level 5, level 10, 15, and you just saw everything happening at once. So I want you to understand that there's actually a similar thing that is currently taking place within these more energetic, higher density astral dimensions where we truly have some of our deepest roots in. And there are aspects of our own beings in which we can call the higher self that are already existing in these higher density realms or these higher density spaces of consciousness. Now, the cool thing about that is literally, in other words, what that means is there's a version of you that has lived all of the lives that you've lived in this universe. Okay, I want you to really try to comprehend that. There's a version of you that has literally already lived all the different lives within this universe specifically. And this is literally what we call our higher self. So when we zoom out from where we are right now in the human body in the third density, and we take a look at planet Earth, and then we zoom out even farther and we take a look at the solar system, and then we zoom out even farther, we look at the galaxy, and then we zoom out even farther, we see all these other galaxies in this universe. There are versions of us, parallel yous, that are existing in different solar systems, that are potentially existing in our own solar system, that are existing in our galaxy, that are existing in different galaxies, all within this universe. Because past, present, and future is all at once. In reality, all of you and all of the different yous that are currently existing, they're existing now in this present moment. That's why presence is so powerful. That's why when you're allowing yourself to be authentic to who you are, you immediately tap into the energy of presence. And that is the most powerful state to be in, because you're aligning with this source consciousness that literally interconnects all of the different versions of you through that evolutionary soul development connection. And your higher self literally is that version of you that has lived every single one of these lives and is basically governing and orchestrating your self-development process uniquely according to your soul, because this is you. This is the version of you that went through all the mistakes, that went through all the successes, that went through all the ups and the downs, the lefts and the rights, and understands where you are right now. But it's still at the same time all at once. It's right here, right now. The reason why that this is so cool to understand is because it really shows you the power of your ancestorship. It shows you the power of your soul family. It shows you the power of how you are truly supported and are being looked out for by not just one other person, not just one specific energy, not just one God. There are literally, for all that we know, millions of yous that are existing in this universe alone. There could be way more. I don't know what the numbers would look like with that. I mean, how big is this universe, right? There could be billions of yous existing within all these different lifetime incarnations that are all here right now. And there are versions of you that know you. And then there are other versions of you that don't know you yet. There are versions of you that aren't even human right now. There's versions of you that are still incarnated as animals, as plants, as rocks, as wind, as fire. And then there's versions of you that are incarnated as higher density, extraterrestrial, extra dimensional consciousness, fourth density, fifth density, sixth density, seventh density. And of course, your higher self, that is the highest density version of you that is existing right now in this moment. And it is supporting you, and it can influence all the other versions of you to support you right where you are in this present moment. It's a trippy thought. I know, give yourself time to really process what it is that I'm saying, but this is the real deal stuff here. And this is actually some pretty high level, advanced occult knowledge. So with that being said, when you are an occultist, you can now maybe start making certain connections potentially to certain entities or certain deities, certain spirits that you might have a soul resonance with, a native resonance with, because potentially you might have future versions of you existing within these complex consciousnesses that we are considering the deity itself. There could literally be an incarnation of you within that deity that comprises the complex of what that deity is, and that's why you have a native resonance to that energy. And every time you are actually connecting with that energy that feels so familiar to you, you are also connecting with an aspect of your soul, of your personal soul. And that's what we could call an oversoul consciousness. It's a comprised higher density energy comprising of a bunch of different other entities, wherein some of those entities inside of that higher density force are actually you in a future life. Where are you going to hear this information? Where else are you learning this stuff from? There's not a lot of people talking about this, if anyone. So if you're getting value from this, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Get notified. You don't want to miss out. Okay? But as I'm saying, that's what it is that we need to understand. And that's what it is that we want to definitely be aware of, so we can understand how we are working with ourselves more often than what we actually think. So many of us that work with spirits and work with entities, we tend to almost project these entities completely outside of us, as if they're completely separate from us and they're very different from us. And in some regards, they are quite different from us because they're not in the human experience, but they can carry literally aspects of our own soul that is associated with our future lives, future versions of us that we haven't, in this way of understanding time, experienced or stepped into yet. And we're working with aspects of our higher self by doing that. This is why some people resonate with these energies and other people resonate with these energies, and everyone has their own native resonance. It's your unique soul makeup. So I want you to understand this. So now we understand parallel use. You can literally, so this is what I did within my initiatory practices, through going through different initiations, working with the Qliphoth in the demonic realm. I have a lot of different ancestorship and soul, we could say soul family versions of me that have developed through the demonic realms, that have developed through the realms of what is considered the negative polarity, going throughout the different densities, leading up into the late 6th density, where then my higher self is, obviously a positive, polarized entity in that density. So I have a lot of resonance or native resonance with the demonic realm and all of the different species that are also associated with the demonic realm, which tends to be a lot of the different reptilians and even some of the grays as well. So with that being said, through my process of initiating into the Qliphoth, this was like opening up the doors within my deep unconscious mind to remember who I actually am in a future life that I have not yet lived right now here on earth from our understanding of time, but is actually existing right now. So I was led to doing these very intuitive invocations. I was led to cultivating a name for myself that was going to represent a name of power, a very important name that I didn't fully understand at the time. At the time, I was kind of associating it with something that was called the magical name, but I didn't really know what that meant. It was just kind of mystical. But now I do understand what it means. I was associated a name that is actually one of the names of a version of me that is in a higher density consciousness. And then I was given a series of invocations that I was intuitively creating that is designed to invoke this version of me into my body that is once again existing in a higher density of consciousness. And this specific version of me is actually existing in a reptilian incarnation. And I believe it's existing, I want to say this version of me is existing in a 5th density reptilian consciousness, and it's one of these entities that I have a very strong relationship with because this specific one plays a significant role in my lifetime here on this planet and what I'm here bringing to this collective consciousness. So I think there might be some karmic ties between me, myself here, and then my future self living wherever this version of me lives. So it lives somewhere in the Draco constellation, and whatever exact star or planet it lives on. There's some sort of karmic ties, which I'm still, developing and still understanding more of. So I was doing invocations for a long time, not really knowing what I was doing because I created my own sigil with this. I created my own invocations. I basically channeled all of this information from the void, and I have a name for it. And for years, I would do practices with this energy, calling it my daemon. not necessarily knowing exactly what it was potentially also that I was connecting with. And yeah, it is an aspect of my daemon, 110%. That's exactly what it is. But it's also a future version of me living in a parallel life, a parallel reality that somehow intertangles with this life that I'm currently in now. And it plays a big role in my personal soul development. So, with that being said, it's a really powerful thing when you actually start to connect with the parallel versions of you that are existing literally in our own solar system. This version of me literally lives in our solar system. That's why it's probably one of the more significant connections that I have. And I don't know how many other more versions of me potentially are living in this solar system, but this one is very prominent. And the more you can connect with these versions of you, this allows you to do some of the deepest karma work or healing of trauma and repressed emotions, because as I said, that future version of me once was me in the past. And it understands different decisions that I've made before. It understands where I was in regards to the influence that I had and the things that I've done and the energy that I've shifted and have manipulated. And that entity, that version of me, that higher density version of me, of course, is wanting to support my development process to make sure I'm following my soul's purpose, to make sure I'm in alignment with my higher self connection. So it's been showing me things, it's been teaching me things, it's been forcing me to have to heal aspects of my unconscious and my shadow that I was very, resistant to, or that I was very unaware of. And that obviously has not been a fun process all the time, but it's been something that has needed to happen. And I'm so thankful that it has happened, because it's opened up a whole new layer of my understanding of self and what I'm actually here doing. And that's rippling an effect in all things that I do on this planet in a very healthy way, so to speak. So that's a parallel version of me. All of you listening to this right now, there are parallel versions of you. Potentially, there are some that are existing in this solar system. I would even go as far as saying most of us probably do have versions of us existing in our local solar system. As I said, this version of me lives somewhere in the Draco constellation, and then it bounces in between Draco and Orion. So it has some sort of an ability to travel from Draco to Orion. And all of this information has been, received through subtle signs that have sort of manifested in my life as I've connected with this energy, and through, telepathic communication. Now, with that being said, parallel lives are literally the other density incarnations or other density manifestations of you. And not even just of you, but think about, like, there are parallel Earths that exist within our solar system. So there are other planets not in our solar system. There are other Earth-like planets in our universe. And there may even be Earth-like planets in our galaxy. I would actually really think that there would be. So imagine that. So we live on Earth. We have the human experience. We understand what it means to be a human for the most part here. Well, there are other planets that are not necessarily called Earth somewhere in our galaxy, definitely in the universe, no doubt about it, but somewhere in our galaxy that are literally just like our planet Earth, but a little bit different. Like maybe the sky, rather than the sky having the sun and then the clouds and then whatever the sky, maybe it just looks a little bit different. Maybe there's 2 moons. Maybe there's 3 moons. Maybe the sky is just a little bit of a more different color, like a little greener than blue, right? Like these little shifts, but it's like the same archetype, or it's the same energy. This is parallel realities. And there's actually a movie that really breaks this stuff down really well. They did a really good job at recording this movie, and it's got like it really hits you with so much symbolism. I would encourage you to check it out if it's something you're interested in. The movie is literally called Everything All at Once. Go and search that up. See if you can purchase it on YouTube and watch it on your phone. It's going to really open up your awareness to some of these things that I'm talking about. I saw it way back in the day, but it's true. This stuff is real. So parallel realities can be like literally Earth, just in a completely different parallel. Little differences, not the exact same, little differences. There are other humanoid-like humans similar to us, but just a little bit different, existing in a parallel universe, a parallel galaxy, right? That we may even have incarnations of ourselves on too, which is the most interesting part. This is another piece of this whole puzzle that's going to blow your mind. The source, there is no beginning and there is no end to the source. And I know, like, for humans, we don't even have capacity to even process what the hell that even means. Like, when I say there's no beginning and there's no end, it just immediately challenges our ego. It's like, what? How does that even make sense? How did something come into being if there was no beginning and then there's no end? The source has always been. It just is. And there's so much more behind that understanding that I can't even sit here and try to explain because it's so vast and it goes so deep. But this is the point that I'm trying to make. The source is infinite in nature, which means it's infinitely creating. Literally, universe. New universes are being generated every second, every millisecond. There are new realities being formed, and it's infinite and it's always expanding. So you can only imagine, if we zoomed out like as far as you could, how many universes are there? And then how many more universes are there to come? And how many more versions of you exist outside of our universe, right? When we look at other universes and how many versions, it just is mind-boggling, right? And that's why our soul is infinite in nature. We literally are always experiencing the evolutionary process of life. And it's such a trippy concept to really start understanding and working with and trying to grasp, really, even though there's no way to fully grab onto that. But it just goes to show. So obviously, let's take our time and look more at what's going on within our universe. But overall, to have that knowing is pretty interesting. But when we look at our universe, yeah, there's so many versions of us just existing in our own universe. All the different incarnations you've ever experienced in your life in this universe, that's you. All these different aspects of you, and then your higher self, the version of you that's lived all of those experiences and has the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding of everything you've experienced. And we just want to align with that. We want to be authentic. We want to enter into the present moment, go with that flow of that source consciousness and be in tune with nature, because that's what we're designed to do. That's what we're organically made to flow with and to be in touch with. It's a beautiful thing. So all of those different parallel realities and parallel life experiences, parallel planetary energies and things in that nature, it's a trippy thought, but they do exist. All right, so with that being said, this is where I'm going to wrap it up. Obviously, give yourself some time to really process what it is that I said. If you've never received this information before, it's pretty mind-blowing. So don't feel like you have to grasp this or fully understand it. Like, give yourself time to integrate what it is that I'm actually talking about here. All right, but without further ado, we're going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed this, slam the thumbs up button. Drop down in the comment section. Let me know what your perspective is on everything it is that I just talked about. I want to know if you learned something new today. I want to know if you already know about this. I want to know if you have a connection to potentially versions of you that are existing already in our universe or in our galaxy. Okay, hit the notification bell. As I said, I post every single day. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's going to further connect you to everything it is that we're doing here. Now, I also want to say, copy and paste the link and send it to someone that you feel like will gain value from it. I highly encourage you to do that. All right. I'm going to take your awareness to the most important link within the entire description itself. This is the Patreon. On my Patreon, I have an entire revamped, brand new magic training course, which is released right now, fully accessible. It's like going to college for occultists. So if you're a beginner occultist, or even if you're an advanced, seasoned practitioner, this magic training course is going to offer education and demonstration that is going to be valuable for you. I encourage you to check it out. Then I have a whole host of organized collection sections walking you through everything from occult knowledge, initiation, angels, demons, regulating the nervous system, healing trauma, understanding what it means to do real shadow work, all of the most fundamental keys of self-development that you could imagine. It's all on my Patreon. And the Patreon's just ever growing, and it's growing for a reason. So if that's something you're interested in, I encourage you to check it out. Tier 3 and 4 gives you access to a ritual service, which is called the Universe B Ritual Service. It is the only ritual service that I offer for anyone, and it's for my collective consciousness. It's an energetic transfer from me to you to support you through the development of working with the deeper parts of your unconscious mind. It supports you to be able to go into the unconscious, surface repressed, stored negative energies in the system, have more of an understanding and acceptance to process them so that they can slowly release. And then what this does is it allows you to merge with your shadow self, merging with your shadow so that your unconscious mind can start working in your favor rather than working against you, which is literally what most people experience. So if that's something you're interested in, take advantage of it. There are about 300 active members that are consistently utilizing this ritual service every single month that I perform it. The deadline to sign up is the 28th. First link below. Second link is where you can book a one-on-one call with me, or you can jump right into mentorships. This is actually going to be the most influential way to personally work with me, and I would be honored to support you through your development process in any way that I can. Okay, so if you're interested in that, it's all in the second link. Now, also in the same second link, you can book a tarot card reading with Alexia. She's a really gifted tarot card reader. So if you're looking for that, check it out. Third link is a LUCIFERS Foundation course. This course gives you a step-by-step process on everything you need to follow to develop a healthy yet powerful relationship with Lucifer. Fourth link is where you can become a YouTube member. This is actually where you can become a YouTube member and become a part of the Universal Mastery family. We really are like a big collective family here. We support each other going through these really deep processes of self-development. It's always nice to see familiar faces and to even surround ourselves with people that we resonate with. So if you want to join into the family, I would absolutely love to have you in that. That's the fourth link below. Now, the fifth link is going to be book recommendations. If you're someone that's looking for occult studies, as well as the fundamental tools that you need for your spiritual practices, definitely check out that fifth link below. You have an option to purchase a 4 ebook bundle, or you can purchase the physical copies directly off of Amazon itself. So I would encourage you to check that out as well. Now, with that being said, we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate all of you very, very, very much. And I hope you all have an amazing rest of the day or night, wherever you are. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.